There's a lot of talk about creating generative boards, and I haven't seen a whole lot of practical application. What does that actually mean? How do you structure discussions? So in this case, what we did is we're sort of killing three birds with one stone. We're looking at the normal business of the board, strategic issues, financial issues, fiduciary issues. We're doing that, but we're doing it in the context of a 21st century classroom approach, which is also something that's really important for our board to understand. They don't necessarily understand what those things are. So we're teaching them about that by using 21st century teaching and learning exercises, case study, project and problem-based learning, electronic response, back channeling. We're also doing flipped classroom. We're going to make our board members create videos as well. So we're doing the kinds of things that schools are talking about for their students, and we're doing it in the boardroom. And then third, we're building engagement and teamwork and collaboration, and we're bringing out voices in our boardroom that aren't always heard. So everyone is participating. We're doing small group work. We're doing large group work, and it's a totally different experience. It's crazy. It took a lot more work to prepare for this than a normal board meeting, but I think the results are going to pay off.
If we wanted the trustees to fully understand and appreciate the value, the opportunity, the power of 21st century learning and what it is to become a school of the future, we needed them to experience that.
We're incorporating also our senior administrative staff, so it's not just the board members in the room, they're really getting to know the people that work and run the school.
Zach and I attended a conference of the National Association of Independent Schools, and one of the topics was having a generative board meeting. What does that mean? It's a board meeting in which the trustees are much more involved in thinking through questions and problems and not just in a reporting type of situation.
And Zach and I had talked about the very aspects of the meeting well beforehand, and knowing Zach's ability to bring it all together and knowing his love for technology, I knew it was going to be a wow factor involved, and it certainly was a wow weekend.
I think the case study, looking at things from different ways, having different people focus on different issues, I think is better than just having one person present and a Q&A, and it allows you to dig deeper into issues. So I think that's a positive. And many times the things that you're thinking about are correlated to what other people are doing, but in a different way. As the presentation was going on, you were asked questions, do you believe A, B, C, or D? Unfortunately, as you're understanding that, that means for me with ADD, it means I've stopped listening to what he's saying.
Well, it was amazing to see the results of the polling come up like that everybody voted on their smartphone. And I think it certainly speeds along the meeting and makes everything more efficient.
I think one of the things that the board was engaged in terms of technology was their activity yesterday afternoon when they were trying to create their own flipped classroom. When they realized as they went through that that's a very time-consuming process. So creating just 2 to 3 minutes is not a 2 to 3 minute job. It's a job that can take an hour, that can take 2 hours. And
it was a great opportunity from the Alumni Association point of view to be able to present a video of what we've been up to, a status report for us. Video is a great way to actually showcase more of the many great volunteers we have working on behalf of the school.
I think there'll be a balance between the old business portion of the meetings and these more free-form creative sessions. Because the creative session is what got people quite engaged, and yet we do have responsibilities as a board, fiduciary responsibilities that we have to meet.
I was thrilled to see that technology then became the core of the meeting.
You have to understand that my daughter told me that I'm roadkill on the internet highway, so that's where I'm starting from.
Well, obviously everyone is much more engaged. There isn't a script. It's kind of a general script, but it's given people the opportunity to step out of their comfort zones. I felt that particularly in the morning. I was skeptical going in, but as the days progressed, I sense more camaraderie, more participation by the board. I think I'm sensing that they like this.
One of the great things about this meeting, I think, was the engagement of all the trustees. In any large group, you're going to have some who are more forceful, and you'll have some who will frankly hold back. But because we used problem-based learning tools and techniques and broke into groups, every one of the trustees, I think, felt engaged and their voice was heard. And that was not maybe so much surprising as really gratifying.
There are usually some heavy eyelids. People are fighting off the sleepiness. And that was not ever the case at this meeting. People were leaning forward. They were speaking up. So I think that I observed, a very active, engaged board doing meaningful work.
I think what's most impressed me today is that as we were taking polls earlier today about certain issues that we want to deal with, especially related to the master plan, that our board is really invested in making the school a better place financially, but also philosophically.
This board meeting, the makeup and the way we've done it is just so refreshing after 26 years of committee reports.
Fun for me was watching the way in which the board meeting was done match the message that it's a new hill, and to see on the part of not just Zach, because it's really in the person of Zach and his team, but also on the part of the trustees, a hunger to think about things in a new way, to consider new things. That's part of what makes the Hill so exciting right now.
One trustee said, I learned so much more about the critical issues, about the background of this topic, about what is important for our school to do by actually working on generating a project.
This is how you engage the board. There's certainly business that the board has to do, and I think they thought carefully about that this morning. But I think there's also a lot of really great discussion and great feedback and great, generative process is the word for it, that the board can be doing, and this was an example of it. This is how you engage really smart people.